Hi, welcome to Short Storytime, where I improvise a story off the top of my head from a prompt given to me by a friend. Today's title is The Bear and the Waterfall, so let's go. Once upon a time there was a bear, and he lived by a waterfall. He slept there. Every day he would go and drink from the waterfall and then go into the forest and get some berries. So days, months, years passed. He realized he was alone and felt really lonely. One day he just went up to the waterfall and looked at his reflection, and it seemed like there was almost someone else looking at him in the water. But he understands that it was just his reflection. And he just sighed to himself and said, I'm so lonely. And just shook his head. Well, that hurt, said a voice. The bear was quite startled by it. He wasn't sure where it came from. He looked around and, he asked who goes there. And the voice said, I'm right here. So he looked back at his reflection and just saw the water splashing about, but he's still not seeing anyone. Who are you? He said. I'm the waterfall. The bear was still a bit shocked and taken aback that the waterfall spoke to him. This never happened before. He was a bit shocked, but, confused. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were there. It's fine, replied the waterfall. I've always been here. I suppose you just never spoken to me before. The bear nodded and said, I guess you're right. I didn't think the waterfall would talk to me. He gave off quite an awkward laugh at it. He thought maybe he was going insane. All this time alone, and now the waterfall is speaking to him. But maybe he said to himself, just maybe the waterfall knew who he was, because he couldn't remember who he was or where he came from, if he had any family. So he looked at the waterfall and he asked, well, do you know who I am? There was a bit of silence for a while, and then the waterfall replied, no, I don't. I'm sorry. Should I know? I know the birds and the trees, the types of trees, and I know every bend I take in the past. Should I know you? The bear looked a bit perplexed. He was like, haven't you been here all this time? Maybe even before me. And the waterfall looked at him and said, well, I suppose no man steps into the same water twice, now do they? And the bear looked a bit confused and said, well, what about bears? So the waterfall just laughed at his joke and said, well, you know what I mean. Everything is always changing. I remember a lot, but not you. I know where I came from, but I don't know where I'm going. The bear understood what the waterfall meant. The water always flowing, remembering the past, but not its destination. The bear just accepted that this is how it is, but he was glad that he had a new friend. So days went by and they would basically have the same conversation every day, where the bear would talk to the waterfall and the waterfall would respond like it's their first time meeting. Even though this was a bit hard on the bear, he accepted that this is his friend now and he can't just leave them. Especially how they forget him every day. Sometimes it hurt, and sometimes it was just another adventure for the day. Months went by and the bear got a bit bored and was just looking at his reflection in the water again. Kona. The bear looked a bit shocked and confused and asked the waterfall to repeat itself. Kona, is that you? The bear turned its head sideways and was a bit confused. The name does sound a bit familiar. not sure if that's me. Uh, you look like Kona, but I saw Kona a while back, so Kona can't be you, can it? And the bear put the pieces together and realized that the waterfall encountered another bear sometime back, but he wasn't sure when. She looked just like you, and she looked at me and she said, Kona. I'm not sure if that was her name or if it's your name. Maybe she's looking for you. The bear kind of turned its head and said, maybe. I didn't think there were other bears out there. I thought it was just me. There was some silence for a while, and the waterfall said, well, I guess you're not alone anymore, are you? And the bear said, well, I've never really been alone, you're here. And the waterfall laughed and said, well, I suppose you're right. I've always been here, haven't I? How long have we known each other? The bear couldn't give a number. Some years, maybe, he said. A long time. You know, no man ever steps in the same water twice. You are Kona, aren't you? The bear said, I think so. Kona looked at the waterfall and said, maybe she's my family. The waterfall said, maybe we should find her. She's a ways back. I can't remember when. Maybe 2 sunsets ago. 5 bends higher. Kona said, well, I can't leave you by yourself. There was a little pause again, and the waterfall said, I'm never alone, Kona. I'm always here. Wherever you find water, you should find her. Maybe she knows you, and you know her. Kona said, yeah, maybe. But am I ready for that? I've been here all this time. And the waterfall laughed and said, no man steps into the same water twice, Kona. Everything is always changing. So, change.